Hey, honey,
Yes, Barry?
let's get out of here.
Where are we going?
Where do we always go?
Fascina y el viento, este ritmo de palmas, sin mi naturaleza, hasta encontrar la playa. Por eso grito al mundo, yo soy de Puerto Vallarta. Samba de Puerto Vallarta, noche de arrullo en el mar. Samba de Puerto Vallarta.
Hello, fellow travelers, and welcome to this episode of the Puerto Vallarta Travel Show. I'm your host, Barry Kessler, and I'm just so happy to be introducing you to my favorite vacation destination. Okay, maybe it's even yours, and that's Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. That music you're listening to is performed by Alberto Perez, and Alberto is the owner of the Lapa Lapa group of restaurants. Those are the Lapa Lapa, Puerto Vallarta's oldest restaurant on the famous Los Muertos Beach, and the El Dorado Restaurant and Beach Club right next door. So you can enjoy that fantastic view of the Los Muertos Pier, all lit up at night in beautiful colors, or during the day in its grand splendor for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, seated with your toes in the sand right at the water's edge. It's so romantic. It's so Puerto Vallarta, my friends. This week we head to one of my favorite breakfast spots in Puerto Vallarta, and that's Coco's Kitchen. Coco was a little bit too shy to talk with me, so she did the next best thing. She asked if I would interview her daughter Vanessa in her stead. So you're going to be hearing about the history of Coco's Kitchen and all about, what they're all about and, stuff like delicious food and stuff. But before we get to Vanessa and to Coco's Kitchen, let's see what's happening this week in Puerto Vallarta, the second day of May, 2021. Water shortages are all in the news as things warm up here in Puerto Vallarta, and the rainy season is still a month and a half away. Here's an article from Puerto Vallarta Reporter. It reads, Ciapal asks the people of Puerto Vallarta to conserve water, dated April 17th. Ciapal, the entity in charge of Puerto Vallarta's sewage and water, has asked the public to conserve water due to the sudden drop of groundwater levels and the limited availability of water in rivers due to the dry season and drought currently being experienced in the region. Ciapal Operations Director Oscar Castellon Rodriguez explained that in addition to the drought, the radial well has been impacted by indiscriminate extraction of stone materials at its confluence, which has caused a decrease in its capacity, which was 600 liters per second initially, but is now only 132 liters per second today. The well is the main source of supply for Ciapal, which serves 30% of Puerto Vallarta, including the tourist strip, neighborhoods in the north of the city, the upper area of the El Pitial delegation, Las Juntas, and parts of Ixtapa. Meteorologist Victor Manuel Cornejo Lopez, a member of the Banderas Bay Scientific Committee for Civil Protection, reported that since last February, Puerto Vallarta has been going through a dry or low water episode. He said that this situation will last for the rest of April and part of May, when the first rains could occur in the region. Even so, it will still be insufficient to recharge those water tables. And if you want to read this article, you can, go to this new news place called the Vallarta Reporter. You need to subscribe, and it costs money to do it. I have a link to subscribe if you want in the show notes, and you too can read the article, or you can just listen to me. And speaking of just listening to me, here's another article from the Vallarta Reporter, and it talks about the letters that spell Puerto Vallarta as you drive into Vallarta from Nayarit. The letters that were tiled, if you can remember, way back when, by Natasha Moraga, and then were vandalized. They were destroyed, and the city rehired her to redo them. And then the city said, we're going to have a contest to see who's who's going to have the best design to redo the sign. Well, here is a report on that contest and on the sign. It says, after controversy and disagreement over the mirror effect of the winning maxi letter welcome project to Puerto Vallarta, authorities have backed down, announced the director of the Vallarta Institute of Culture, Marina de los Santos Alvarez, saying that the letters are unviable due to technical issues and lack of warranty. The announcement was made 2 days after the deadline to complete the works, according to the call where Pipo Barakman was the winner of the 125,000 peso prize and the right to redo the letters on the Las Juntas crossing of the entrance avenue. After making the blacksmith and fiberglass structure, they have done tests by applying the chrome material to the letters, but it has not been successful. We have carried out 3 tests, and so far they are not viable. It must be said clearly regarding the guarantee of 5 to 7 years necessary to keep it outdoors in the conditions of our beautiful Puerto Vallarta, Brockman said. De Los Santos announced that this Friday she's meeting with the 3 jurors to obtain advice. We determined that this was the most innovative project, and it fulfilled all the characteristics for the reward. I'm going to tell you that this technically getting a little bit complicated, she says. They plan to officially cancel the proposal and are already analyzing a plan B, which could be to choose another one of the contestants or to declare the contest void. She has even spoken with Pipo Brockman, of whom she recognized his professionalism and ethics, since he accepted that if the letters don't have the quality intended, his prestige will not be affected. De Los Santos promised to provide a solution next week. And again, if you want to read this article or more from the Vallarta Reporter, all you have to do is pay a few bucks every month, and you too can read about all this news. And again, I have a link to subscribe to the Vallarta Reporter right in the show notes. Now, I saw this article, and it made me think about what AMLO, the president of Mexico, has been saying and has said about not requiring, anybody who doesn't want to get the jab to just say no. Discussions are currently in progress, and there are ideas that are being bantied back and forth, floated around by members of the Mexican tourism sector, which involve vaxing la gente, vaxing the peeps, the people who actually live in tourist zones in Mexico. So this article from the Banderas News caught my eye. It is Dateline Mexico City with the aim of promoting the reactivation of the tourism sector. Mexico's Secretary of the Economy, Tatiana Cloutier, proposed a plan to vaccinate all adults in 5 summer vacation destinations that are popular amongst American tourists. I believe that this will be one of the fundamental initial measures to reactivate tourism, Cloutier said, while addressing a virtual economic forum after presenting the plan to President López Obrador on Monday. The president thought it was a very good idea, and we are in the process of trying to determine which 5 destinations it will be, she said. Cloutier explained that the 5 destinations chosen will be those whose local economies depend heavily on tourism and that have the capacity to attract international tourists. She added that the reactivation of domestic tourism has already begun in many areas. The secretary noted that due to the pandemic, tourism in Mexico and the world has undergone a transformation. With travelers now preferring nature-oriented vacations, the government is focusing more on promoting ecotourism. We're working with social media influencers to promote vacation destinations that offer greener, more ecological tourism options, she said. Los Cabos, Cancun, and Puerto Vallarta are among the destinations that meet the criteria, so although it's not been fully confirmed, there is a great possibility that these destinations will be among the 5 in which the vaccinations could be applied to the general population as a measure for the recovery of tourism. Secretary Cloutier added that the government is advocating an increase in direct flights to tourism hotspots so that travelers don't have to transit through third cities to reach their final destination. Air travel to Mexico from the United States, the number one source country for international tourists, is expected to recover strongly this summer, as many U.S. citizens have already been vaccinated against COVID-19 and are keen to go on vacation. The number of flights that have been scheduled between the two countries for this summer is up 6% from 2019, and I have a link to that article in the Banderas News in my show notes. I have a note from listener Brian. Brian is from Alberta, Canada, and he writes, Barry, a couple of weeks ago you talked about over-the-counter meds that you purchased in Puerto Vallarta for your quote-unquote COVID kit. You mentioned hydroxychloroquine and azithromycin and COVID kits distributed in some other countries. I see your photo in the blog post, which includes ivermectin, but you didn't talk about it on the podcast. Is it still available in Mexico over the counter? Therefore, the photo. Love the show. Brian. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Brian, for that email. Thanks for actually going to the blog post and looking at it. I'm so happy that people actually go to my website. Yes, ivermectin is available, and it's still available over the counter in Mexico. In fact, when I was in Puerto Vallarta last, I was with a Mexican friend of mine over at Farmacia Guadalajara, and I said, hey, just a minute, I want to go and see if I can buy something here over the counter. And I went and I talked to the pharmacist, and she handed me a box, and I bought it, and he said, what'd you get? And I showed him the box, and he says, what do you got, worms? So he knew exactly what it was. And anyway, lots of studies are actually being done around the world on this antiviral ivermectin, including in Mexico. And although this antiviral medicine is getting a bad rap from pharmaceutical companies looking to make billions of dollars creating vaccines, rather than just keeping sick, infected people out of the hospital in the first place by providing the sick with a take-home kit, with a COVID kit, which I've explained, which he or she can start taking immediately upon the onset of any of these symptoms for COVID. And I've been saying this, talking about these COVID kits, that they've actually saved thousands of lives by keeping people out of the hospital, actually giving people a treatment for the virus, rather than just sending sick people home and say, hey, come back if you get sicker. These kits have saved lives, and they are referred to as Zerverdo kits. They consist of zinc acetate, 50 milligrams, doxycycline, 100 milligrams, and ivermectin, 12 milligrams. This is a corona treatment. It's called Corona Treatment Mankind. And I have a picture of one of these Zerverdo kits in the show notes. And these kits, very similar to these, are being used in Mexico. And although there was a brief stop in the use of them in Mexico due to some misinformation, I will actually read this article. It actually explains the whole thing, kind of, sort of. This is from El Universal, Mexico City. The Mexican Social Security Institute, IMSS, will continue to provide ivermectin as a treatment against COVID-19 and prevent them from being hospitalized, because the recommendation not to use it did not come from the Ministry of Health and, in fact, is contrary to international scientific evidence, assured its General Director, Zoe Robledo. The Ministry of Health has not issued any recommendation on ivermectin. It was a multidisciplinary panel of experts from the Coordinating Commission of National Institutes of Health and High Specialty Hospitals that issued a recommendation on the use of ivermectin, and they are two completely different things, added Robledo, after underlying that they act ethically at the IMSS and with scientific evidence. If the recommendation were from the Ministry of Health, we are sectorized and would have a link with what we do in the IMSS, said the general director, who claimed to have used it when he had COVID, and they will continue to give it because it prevents cases infected become complicated and reach the hospital. This recommendation, regardless of whether it is binding or not, is contrary to what's being analyzed in other parts of the world on this same drug. Recently, on January 17th, the United States National Institutes of Health rectified its position regarding ivermectin and moved from a position that it would be more similar to that of last year, in which there was a no recommendation for its use, to a non-prohibited on its use, he asserted. They say you have to continue researching before recommending its use, but we do not recommend stopping using it. We do not recommend not using it. It's something important in the union, Robledo said. The recommendation of the Coordinating Commission of National Institutes of Health and High Specialty Hospitals does not consider, he added, the medical units of the first level of care. High specialty institutes lack first levels of care, neither the flow of people nor the size of Social Security, he clarified. In this regard, Jose Luis Duran, coordinator of planning and health in the Directorate of Medical Benefits of the IMSS, clarified that to take a position in this management of patients is not done lightly. It's also done with panels of experts, clinicians, and researchers who participate in Social Security, he added. In the particular case of ivermectin, it's a very safe drug, one of the safest in the world. It's very noble and has had such significant effects that its creator, William Campbell, won the 2015 Nobel Prize in Medicine for ivermectin. More than 3.7 billion doses of ivermectin have been given in the world, and there have been no side effects. This speaks to a very important issue, which is do no harm. And once it's guaranteed that the drug does not cause side effects, we have more evidence of its effectiveness. We have 23 studies that indicate the usefulness of ivermectin, not only for early treatment to prevent the damage from progressing, but even as a prophylactic drug, he clarified. Social Security policy is based on a scientific analysis with a systematic review of the medical literature, with panels of experts who have considered the technical and ethical aspects to supply ivermectin. Social Security's position, he added, is supported by scientific evidence. For this reason, in its respiratory care modules, 11,976 kits have been delivered to confirmed patients with various treatments, including ivermectin. In recent days, in the evening conferences, Jose Luis Oloma, General Director of Epidemiology, stated that there is no solid scientific evidence of its efficacy for remission and patient improvement, and therefore does not support it for its use. And even Hugo Lopez-Gatell, the Undersecretary for Prevention and Health Promotion, published a document from the World Health Organization on its deficiencies. That's interesting. I wonder why. Anyway, I have a link to this article in the show notes, as well as a picture of the over-the-counter drugs that I purchased the last time I was in Puerto Vallarta. You can find them, of course, at www.puertovallartatravelshow.com. Okay, I want to apologize to all of you for, not being on top of things. I have not been getting out episodes at a regular clip lately, and I really apologize for that. Partially because I've been so busy. Business is booming, and I'm trying to get out, trying to make preparations to get out to Puerto Vallarta, and that's just a week away. And well, I'm in 4 escrows. One of them is difficult, and I got to get photos for 2 new listings, which are coming up in a week. And it just always seems to be that you get busiest when you got plans to cut out of town, right? It happens to everybody. It happens every time. But you have no idea what we realtors have to go through. I'm going to tell you about this one that I'm doing, this really tough one. If I survive, if I live this one, I'm not a psychiatrist, I am not a social worker, but if I make it through this one, you're going to hear this story. All right. Listen, when I am a little bit late with these episodes, I do get emails, and they're usually listeners that are checking up on me. They want to see if I'm still alive. If I were to die, okay, it's not like anybody would even know, right? I don't have a publicity team. I'm a one-man show. I do everything. I produce, I book, I do all the audio engineering. Nobody, maybe my wife, would know if I kicked the bucket. So what happens when that happens? It just makes me wonder. I guess I would just pod fade. But anyhow, sorry it's taken me so long. I will do better, I promise. And thank you for the notes of concern from all of you. There are some things that actually happened and are happening right now in the podcasting world, actually, that I want to discuss with you. It really has to do with deplatforming. That's happening a lot. Censoring people and their opinions and all that kind of good stuff. Episodes kind of disappearing off of certain podcasting platforms, Hello, Spotify. Hello, Amazon Music. Anywho, I want to talk to you about that in some detail and how that may affect this show. But I'm going to hold off on that just for another episode. I'll talk with you about that next week. And speaking of coming down, I'll be down next week. I'm extremely excited to be making my fourth trip to Puerto Vallarta during the pandemic. Actually, since Mexico opened up to tourism in honor of my birthday, last June 15th in 2020. You don't believe me? Come on, look it up. Anyway, I just picked up a couple $100 in pesos over at my local check cashing place. And Monday, I'm going to call my bank. I'm going to let them know that I'll be using my credit card in Mexico over at the ATMs. And I've begun filling up my suitcase. I got like my little mule suitcase with goodies for all my friends. I've got Twizzlers. I've got black licorice. I've got a wooden toilet seat. I got cooling racks for baking. I've got taco seasoning mix. I kid you not. I got a couple of refurbished and unlocked iPhone 7s for a couple of my buddies. I've got various parts and pieces for stuff that were ordered through Amazon. So I am ready. I am ready to come down to Puerto Vallarta. And I got a bunch of interviews that are planned, and you're going to really like these new interviews that are going to be coming on. And I'm looking forward to going on a couple of adventures, a couple places that I have never been to. And I also put together a couple new questions that I can throw into my interviews to kind of spice things up a little bit. So you'll be seeing some of that in my interviews that will be coming up soon. Speaking of spicing things up, we are going to have a meet and greet over at Nacho Daddy. It's going to be Tuesday, May 11th. I'm going to be crashing JR's meet and greet at his new meet and greet location, which is Nacho Daddy, not Kelly's Por Favor Saloon and Cookhouse. Nacho Daddy is at Basilio Badillo 287. We're going to be there with microphones in hand, and things will start at 6:30. We're going to go till 8 o'clock. Just so that we can get out in time for a Puerto Vallarta sunset. And as I mentioned last time we talked about this, the sunset that Tuesday will be at 8:30, so you'll have enough time to get out and check that. So if you're in town, we would sure love to see you. If you're a listener, I want to try some of my new questions on you. So come on down, listeners. And you guys are always the best. Listeners are always the best interview. If you're a business owner, you want to pitch your Puerto Vallarta business, I want to hear from you. We want to hear from you. If you have a favorite charity that you want to tell us about in Puerto Vallarta, you are more than welcome to join us. So remember, it's going to be Tuesday. It's going to be May the 11th over at Nacho Daddy with open mic podcast, 6:30 until 8 o'clock. And I'm going to try to order a couple of T-shirts to give away. Before I leave here. So stop by, grab a T-shirt, but you have to come on the show. You just can't be a freeloader, okay? You got to talk to me. All right. Let's get to the interview, shall we? Puerto Vallarta has its share of bars and restaurants. Gosh, some people would say close to 1,000, but we all tend to categorize them. We do it here on the show. I ask for your favorite breakfast and dinner and lunch spots each and every week. And when it comes to favorite breakfast spots, we often hear the same places mentioned from my guests week after week. And one of these places that we always seem to hear about is Coco's Kitchen. Coco's is located on a little street called Pulpito, or Little Octopus, translated in English. And if you take Olas Altas, which is the street where you would find Andales, and you head south, you go past Salud Superfood, and the next street is Pulpito. You'll turn right and you go towards the beach, and then halfway down the block, you will see Coco's Kitchen on the left-hand side of the street. If you were to keep going all the way to the beach, just to give you like a little bit of a heads up as to where you are exactly, you would be at Lapa Lapa and El Dorado. That's the street, Pulpito. The space is open, has a bar, it has traditional seating as well as patio-style seating. In what Vanessa, you're going to hear from Vanessa. Vanessa calls the place a lot. But yeah, it's an open-air space with wonderful trees and lighting, and it's always a buzz with happy diners, even happier employees. The waiters and the waitresses and the servers are extraordinary at Coco's Kitchen. I'm sure that they must all take like a month-long course in nice, because they are all so nice, and they're all so happy, and they're full of energy, and the place has lots of energy. It's got great food, and it's just a beautiful, comfortable place to sit. When I stopped by and I asked Coco if she'd talk with me, she played shy. She said, maybe you should talk to my daughter Vanessa about Coco's. And so we're going to be talking about Coco's and their new concept, the grill at CK, Coco's Kitchen. And so I had a delightful conversation with Coco's daughter right after breakfast in a lovely tree-covered courtyard at a table at Pulpito 122 in the Olas Altas neighborhood of Puerto Vallarta. So let's go right now. Let's meet Vanessa Villegas, the lovely daughter of Coco, at Coco's Kitchen, Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. Vanessa, thanks for coming on the show today.
Thank you.
Tell us a little bit about yourself. Well, what was your path that led you to Puerto Vallarta?
I am originally from Guadalajara, and my parents moved to Puerto Vallarta in 1984. We started a restaurant, and we've basically been here since.
So 1984. That was the first year that I came to Puerto Vallarta.
Oh.
All right. Been in the same place the whole time?
No.
Okay.
No.
Where did you start?
We started at the Hotel Tropicana with Maximo Cornejo when he was still alive. And we've had small businesses ever since. And we had moved away from Puerto Vallarta, and my mother came back in 1997, started her breakfast at a Greek restaurant called Carpatos Greek restaurant with my uncle Ruben. And she did so well, she was so popular that she needed to expand. So she then moved to what used to be Kit Kat. Oh. She had breakfast at the Kit Kats, and was later invited to do breakfast at Boca Bento, at an amazing restaurant that opened in 2004 by Stuart Haverlack. So we partnered with Stuart and had breakfast and lunch at the Kit Kat and at Boca Bento. Eventually, this space where Coco is currently on Pulpito 122 became available, and she moved here and has been here since in about 2010.
Okay. All right.
Even before that. Yes, about 2010.
Yeah. All right. Wow. Well, that's quite a trip. Now, was it always called Coco's Kitchen, or was it something else? It was just the name of the place where you went, where she was.
It was
cooking.
When we were at Carpatos, it was Coco's at Carpatos, and when we moved to the Kit Kat, that's when she took her identity and she called herself Coco's Kitchen. at the Kit Kat.
At the Kit Kat.
And then Coco's Kitchen at Boca Bento. And here, she just kept Coco's Kitchen.
Yeah, well, that's a good idea. I would definitely do that. So tell us a little bit about this space. Tell my listeners what you got going here.
It's an open space. It was a garden. We call it a garden. We're surrounded by trees, palm trees, and plants. And it's basically a lot with very rustic construction.
Yeah.
But people seem to enjoy this open space. And they feel comfortable. It's especially popular now since we're going through this COVID. It's, open space, a lot of air circulation. We're under the stars. And we've become very, very popular. People love it.
Yeah, definitely. This space is incredibly beautiful at night too. I mean,
yes.
with the lights and the trees, and just it's so pretty.
Yes, we recently began dinners beginning June. We did a little remodelation. We opened up the space even more and began dinners with a grill concept. It's a very good grill, and we are adding very special lighting. And we also have, we're beginning with shows. We have events. We currently have Kim Kuzma performing every Friday night. It's a great show. We're calling it a dinner and a show.
Nice.
And we plan to do more events. We're also starting jazz nights on Wednesday nights. And we hope to be able to do more events.
Yeah. So this has been going on since June.
Yes.
What's your menu like over there?
Well, we have, of course, the focus is the grill. We have grilled vegetables, grilled seafood, grilled meats. We also focus on the artisan cocktails. We did invite one of the most well-known mixologists of Mexico. His name is Israel Diaz. He has a little little bar called The Alquimista, and he's and been invited also to Mexico City to be part of the
Is it like MasterChef? Or?
Yes, MasterChef Mexico. So he was a mixologist invited at the MasterChef Mexico, and he's now even more known. So he did our cocktail list, and it's a fabulous menu, and we've gotten very good compliments on it. So, we want it to be known for our cocktails and our meats, and we have tacos, a great taco menu.
Excellent. So breakfast breakfast was the thing that started you.
Yes.
So tell us about your breakfast menu.
Our breakfast menu is one of the most popular ones in town. Coco has a variety of French toast, a variety of pancakes, a variety of omelets. One of her famous omelets is a chile relleno omelet. It's a chile relleno inside an omelet.
Oh, nice.
Covered with some salsa and melted cheese. She has the almond-crusted French toast with lemon curd and mascarpone cheese. She has a churro pancakes with mascarpone and the caramel sauce.
Whoa. Churro pancakes?
Yes.
So we're talking about like savory pancakes, right?
No. This is a cinnamon pancakes.
Okay. Oh, no, churro. I'm thinking about chorizo. Never mind. All right.
Oh, well, actually, her savory pancakes would be the potato pancakes.
Okay.
She has potato pancakes with sour cream and chives, topped with chives and parsley.
Wow.
To name a few of her famous dishes, her chilaquiles, of course, green or red, with chicken or eggs are fantastic. They're highly recommended. Her omelets, she has three kind of eggs Benedict. The classic, the bacon, tomato, eggs Benedict, and her salmon and cream cheese and capers eggs Benedict. She has a variety of dishes that are all very, very good.
Yeah. Wow. Yes. Well, I've had several of those that you mentioned. What's the most popular? What's the most popular dish for your breakfast?
I can say the green chilaquiles with chicken, The Greek omelet, which has spinach, feta cheese, onions, and mushrooms. Of course, the chile relleno omelet. The churro pancakes.
Oh, well, you can keep on going,
Yes,
can't you?
I can.
mean, there isn't, and you're trying to tell me that there really isn't one favorite. Everybody loves everything, it sounds like to me.
These are things that people I know just brag about, and I know they're very, very good. So these are the ones I highly recommend.
Yeah, they line up at the door for it. And if you guys don't have that, they're going to get mad and turn over some tables. So it's a good thing. It's a good thing that you keep those on your menu.
Yes, and we do serve breakfast till 3:30.
Oh, really?
So
Whoa. Okay. So you can put on a binge and then roll out of bed and still get breakfast.
Exactly.
Whoa. All right. I love that. All right. So what about your lunch? Is your lunch similar to your breakfast? What's that? What's your lunch?
Yes, our lunch is, you can find a classic international menu, and it has a little Greek influence since she did start at a Greek restaurant. You can find the gyros or the Greek salad, Mediterranean sandwich, which is a vegetarian with eggplant and grilled vegetables and cheese, tzatziki, hummus. It has a little bit of everything. Not only Greek, but Mexican, American. Her hamburger with 2 cheeses and a pork belly and grilled portobello mushroom. Which you can order with sweet potato fries or French fries.
Nice.
We also have that for dinner on the grill.
Okay,
yes.
good. All right. So there you go. If you're and of course you got the breakfast menu too, right? So you got both of those going on afternoon. Is that what goes on with that?
Yeah. So basically, we can serve breakfast and lunch from 8 a.m. to 3:30 p.m.
Oh, so everything
Yes.
is ready, right?
Yes.
You can have lunch
Yes.
if you want to for breakfast.
Yes, and then the dinners start from 5 to 11.
Okay. All right. Fantastic.
Yes.
All right. Let's leave Coco's Kitchen just for a minute. Let's go out into town.
Okay.
Okay. Now, because this is the part where I usually ask people, what their favorite breakfast, lunch, and dinner place is, but I'm not going to ask you that, okay? Because you do breakfast, lunch, and dinner, so we're gonna avoid that. But what I will ask you is, if you were going to go and get a coffee, like what's your favorite coffee place? You can say here.
The funny thing is, I have to say Coco does have a special blend for her coffee. She does her own blend, which is my favorite coffee, but I would, of course, this is going to sound, I don't know how this is going to sound, but I like Starbucks.
Sounds fine to me. They're still in business. They're still out there,
Yes.
So yeah, that's all good.
Probably not.
No, that's okay. I mean, you're not alone. You're not alone. How about a pastry shop? You have a favorite pastry shop around town?
The one that comes to mind is the chocolate brownies from Pie in the Sky. They are unique, fabulous.
Do they have anything funny in them, like little green chunks of? Never mind.
No, no, they don't.
Okay.
But they're very chocolatey. They're so good.
All right. So where is this place? Is it a place or is it?
Yes, Pie in the Sky. It actually, it started as a small little bakery, but now they're all over the place. There's one nearby, in the romantic zone. They're downtown. They're in Bucerias. They're just everywhere now.
Wow. And I haven't even seen them. And I haven't even walked in and seen them before.
You have to try their brownies.
Yeah. All right. I'm going for it. If you had a day off, do you get days off, Vanessa?
Very difficult, but I try.
All right. If you got one, where would you go?
Well, we discovered this charming little restaurant over in Punta Mita.
Yeah.
Where we enjoyed a fantastic late lunch dinner right on the beach. It is called Mercedes. It's Playa Mercedes.
Okay.
I believe in Punta Mita.
So that's a great day. That's a great day trip kind of a thing.
Yes,
just go
because
out there.
you can spend your day on the beach, and if you're adventurous, you can take a little boat ride to the little islands and come back, keep eating and drinking. The owner of the restaurant is also a wine distributor, so he has fabulous wines, different from what everybody has.
Yeah.
So if you're a wine lover, you'll love this place.
All right. Day trip off to Punta de Mita.
Yes.
All right. Excellent. All right. So what about 3 days? If you had 3 days off, where would you go?
I love going to Careyes.
Correas.
Careyes is a wonderful getaway
Where is
spot. It's south. It's about a couple of hours south from Puerto Vallarta. It's in the middle of nowhere. So you do get away from everything and just relax. It's beautiful.
Is it on the beach?
It's on the beach. Yes.
Okay. All right. Correas.
Yes.
I got to look that up.
Oh, yes. It's wonderful.
Well,
You'll
all
love
right.
it.
All right. And you get there by driving? You
Yes,
just drive there? You don't
driving,
take a bus or anything like that? You got a car.
Yes.
Yeah.
We'll
All right. Yeah.
Drive.
Right.
To get there faster.
Yeah, exactly. Don't have to share a place with, 50 other people. So that's always good.
Especially now, yes.
Yes. Yes. If you had a word of advice for a first-time visitor to Puerto Vallarta, what would it be?
Don't stay in your hotel. Explore the town, explore the restaurants. Seek to be adventurous. I do recommend, there's a small restaurant that you can only get there by boat. It's called Ocean Grill. You should look that up.
Mm-hmm.
It has, it's right next to a private beach. Well, not private beach, but a very small beach that you can only get there by boat. It's don't listen to the American news because they exaggerate. You're safer than they say.
Yeah, that's for sure.
People are friendly.
If it bleeds, it leads,
Yes. Vallarta's a fun, friendly place. You have to get out and explore.
Okay. And what about a word of warning? You got a word of warning for somebody that's coming to Puerto Vallarta for the first time?
Well, everybody says that everything that happens after midnight is... what is it?
It can't be good, right?
Yes, it just can't be good.
Don't go tripping around drunk through the streets is what you're trying to say, right?
Yes, everything after midnight gets a little...
It can be, right? Can be a little sketchy.
It can be.
It can be a little sketchy. Any other words of warning?
Ooh, I actually don't. I think as long as you're here to have a good time, relax, I think you're safe. Just don't go out looking for trouble because you'll find it.
Oh, yeah. No doubt about it. In any town, by the way. Not just here.
Exactly. In any town.
Yeah, yeah. All right. Do you have any other places that you go to for a 3-day trip other than that one that we talked about south of here?
Well, I do have to say there's a beautiful colonial town called San Miguel de Allende that I highly recommend. It's been the highest recommended travel place to go by Travel and Leisure. I actually have a restaurant there as well.
Whoa, wait a minute. You do?
Yes. And
what's it called?
A boutique hotel. The restaurant's called Zumo with my partner Stuart. The restaurant's called Zumo Rooftop, and the boutique hotel is called Villa Limon.
Really? Okay. All right. And that's in
so
San Miguel.
Yeah, San Miguel is a beautiful, beautiful, charming town.
How long is the ride?
If you drive there, it is 8 hours. If you fly, it can be from half an hour to an hour, depending if there's a layover.
Yeah. Do you fly? Is that what you usually do?
I do both.
Yeah. Do you?
Yes.
Yeah.
But
Wow.
it's definitely a place to consider when getting away, vacationing.
Yeah.
It's
if you're
beautiful.
going to be here for like a month or, 3 or 4 weeks, maybe you want to get out there and take a trip and get out there to San Miguel Allende.
Yeah. So my mother goes very often to visit, and it's just a wonderful place.
I bet you go there often too because you got a place there.
Yes.
Yeah. All
Yes.
right. That makes sense. All right. Let's come back to Coco's. Tell us what your address is and how do we find you?
Coco's is located on Pulpito Street, number 122, in the Romantic Zone. It's a half a block from the beach, right up from legendary El Dorado and Lapa Lapa. a couple blocks from the pier.
And you are on Facebook, and I know you're on Facebook.
Yes.
You have a website too, or?
We have a website, and we have, of course, Facebook and Instagram.
Good.
You can definitely see our updates and events on both Instagram and Facebook.
Yep, that's right. And I will have links to those in the show notes. Of course, you can find it at www.puertovallartatravelshow.com and look up the Coco's Kitchen episode. You'll find it all there, including a map that will take you to the front door of Coco's Kitchen. So you have no excuse to miss this place next time you come to Puerto Vallarta. Is there something I missed? Is there anything you want to add before we say goodbye today?
Well, when you're here, make sure you meet Coco in person. She's a beautiful, wonderful, wonderful woman. And she'll be delighted to greet you.
Yes, she will. All right. Well, very good. I want to thank you so much for taking the time today. I know I just dropped in on you, and you were probably busy doing something else, like probably eating, and but I want to thank you so much for taking the time and letting me introduce you and Coco's Kitchen to my listeners. I really appreciate that.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Vanessa. Thanks for all that great information, and thanks for giving us a history of Coco's Kitchen. And now, the grill at Coco's Kitchen. Open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner under the twinkling lights in that very, very romantic space. Potent drinks, music, entertainment. Make sure you check it out for sure the next time that you're in Puerto Vallarta. And I have links to their Facebook page. Make sure you like them and give them a thumbs up and follow them. And that way you can keep up to date with what's happening over at Coco's Kitchen and the grill at CK. And I have a handy Google map that'll take you right to the front door. So you have no excuse not to be able to find this place. Also, I have links to Vanessa's restaurant over in San Miguel Allende, Zumo. You can check that out for sure. And of course, that is over at www.puertovallartatravelshow.com. All right. Well, that should do it for this week. Next week, stay tuned for more on-the-ground reports from Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, with travel tips, great restaurant excursion ideas, and more. But until then, remember that this is an interactive show where I depend on your questions and your suggestions about all things Puerto Vallarta. If you think of something that I should be talking about, well, please reach out to me by clicking on the Contact Us tab and sending us your message. And remember, if you're considering booking any type of tour while you're in Puerto Vallarta, you must go to vallartainfo.com, that's JR's website, and reserve your tour through him right from his website. Remember, this is a value for value proposition. His experience and on-the-ground knowledge of everything Puerto Vallarta in exchange for your making a purchase of a tour that you would do anyway. You're just doing it through him as a way of saying thank you. Thanks, JR, for being our guide. It costs no more than if you were going to use someone else. So just do it, really. And when you take one of these tours, email me your experiences. Maybe you can come on board and share with others what you liked or didn't like about the tour. Again, contact me by clicking on the Contact Us tab and sending off a message. And don't forget, JR's got his maps, his DIY tours, his revitalized happy hour board, and more. And I have links to all of those in the show notes. And once again, if you like this podcast, please take the time and subscribe and give me a good review wherever you happen to be listening to this podcast, or tell a friend. That's the best way to do it. Share it with somebody you know. That way we can get the word out to more and more people about the magic of this place, Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. Remember, I made it easy for you to do just that with each episode I create. But if you haven't been to my website, like Brian has, you really need to have a good look there. I have links to the places that we talk about, interesting pictures, and more right there in the blog posts and in the show notes for each episode of the show. So check them out for sure if you haven't already. All right? All right. Well, thank you so much, Vanessa Villegas at Coco's Kitchen and the Grill at CK. Come make some time next time you're in town. Hit this romantic space for an evening at the grill with music, entertainment, delightful cocktails, or for breakfast or lunch. Remember, Coco's is a wonderful, fresh breakfast and lunch place. They serve until 3 every day. And then, of course, the breakfasts are delicious. The sandwiches are so great. The salads are generous and tasty and healthy. Make sure that you stop by and See, Coco. And hey, thanks to all of you for listening all the way through this episode of the Puerto Vallarta Travel Show. This is Barry Kessler signing off with a wish for you to slow down, be kind, and live the Vallarta lifestyle. Nos vemos, amigos.
De Puerto Vallarta, noche de arrullo en el mar, samba de Puerto Vallarta, noche de amor junto al mar. Solo camino interno por la playa, me encuentro junto al río cuando todo está en calma. Pronto cae la noche, brillas Puerto Vallarta.